Welcome to Monkeys Unfiltered, the podcast where chaos meets conversation and the unexpected is always on the menu. Join hosts Leanne, Jason, and Hayden as they swing through life's absurd, hilarious, and thought-provoking moments. No topic is too wild, no opinion is too untamed. Get ready for unfiltered banter, laughs, and a barrel of fun. This is Monkeys Unfiltered.
Have you heard of the trolley problem? Imagine you're standing high above a set of train tracks. You hear a distant whistle that begins a panic in your gut. You look out over the rusty rails to see the cold metal tracks separate into two different paths yards away from you. On one path is a horrible fate awaiting your significant other who has been tied to one set of tracks. She screams out your name and it freezes your blood in your veins. On the other path, desperate cries for help are bellowing from 5 strangers you've never met in your life. They've been tied to the opposite path. The train whistle grows louder. You can hear the wheels grinding more intensely. The dread sets in as you desperately search for how to best handle this impossible situation you've been placed into. You realize the train is far too close for you to get to either side to free the people who've been tied to the tracks, but you do notice a single lever in front of you. You don't know how you got here. You have no time to think. So you pull the lever and you notice that it changes the train's path where the track splits. The horror sets in as you realize you now have to decide the fate of others. Do you choose your spouse, or do you choose the utilitarian option and save the 5 strangers? Are you ultimately responsible for their fate? Remember, not making a choice is a big choice. The choice is yours. What would you rather do? Welcome to Monkeys Unfiltered. Hey guys, I know that was deep, but why don't you go ahead and make a choice there? This is an age-old problem. It's called the trolley problem. It's a philosophy issue where no matter what choice you make, even if you make no choice, you've still kind of impacted the fate of another person. What would you guys do in this scenario?
I would choose to save my significant other. It's selfish, yeah, but also like those people have no effect on my life.
Yeah, so this is a scenario where there's no correct answer, right? Because even if you do nothing, you're costing the life of someone or multiple someones even. So really, you just are able to kind of defend your own position. You make your own choice. Like again, there's no right answer, so you just got to pick what you think is right.
Yeah, I've had this question posed to me before in the past, and it's a difficult decision to make, right? Because you never want to be on the side of, hey, I just, let 5 people die. But I think I'm going to side with Hayden in that I would look out for my significant other, not because I don't know those people, but I mean, I guess that does play into it a little bit. I depend upon my significant other not for like my well-being or whatever, but he's a part of my life. He is who I do things with, I have plans with. And I guess in my mind, although I would be gutted, right? Because nobody wants to be in that situation. I think in my mind I could walk away realizing that people meet an untimely death all day, every day, and I have no control over that. In this situation, I had to make a decision, and I erred on the side of self-preservation as I see it.
Yeah, that's fair. I am the person who is in the third option, right? When I was in college, I took a philosophy class, and this was the very first question posed to the class. Like I said, it's age old. It's been around forever. But ultimately, not making a choice is still making a choice. I lean toward the utilitarian side, where the greatest good for the greatest number is usually what I would lean towards. But as I've come to, I don't know, develop my thinking and whatnot, I do tend to agree with you guys in that for me, it's probably more of a betrayal of your heart to give up on someone you know you have a deep connection to who has impacted your life in a good way. You pair that up against the lives of 5 people who could go on to do great things or who could go on to do really bad things. You just don't have that information. Reasonably, you should at least know your spouse well enough to kind of determine like whether they're a good person or not. So you essentially would be rolling the dice with 5 people, or you can kind of save the person who you know, first of all, makes you better, and second, whom you obviously think is a good person because you wouldn't be with them otherwise. So yeah, I guess that's kind of a non-answer on my part, but yeah, I would probably end up really choosing my spouse, as horrible as that may be.
I think most people probably would, because I'm not saying everyone's selfish, but I think it's the more justifiable answer for people.
Yeah.
It's harder, like you were saying, like to go against your heart and give up your spouse or your significant other versus 5 random people you've never met before. But I mean, a callback though, you are connected to them by 6 degrees at least, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right,
So-
right.
That's a very
There's
good
that.
point.
I mean, and you raise a good point, and I didn't even really stop to think about this. Like, who are these people? What could they go on to do in the world? But by the same token, I just don't have time to stop and think about that. I have a split second to make a decision.
Yeah.
And when faced with 5 people I don't know, who I don't have the time to evaluate how they may impact the world moving forward, I'm going to make the decision to protect my well-being in the world because I know what I'm capable of. I know what I have planned to do. I know how I can affect the community or the group of people that I live in. And so I'm going to err on the side of my significant other.
Yep, and that's totally fair. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer in this scenario. Ultimately, you're responsible for someone's fate. Or are you? Like, again, so in the initial questions there, it's, are you a murderer at that point? Like, because you're not the one that put them in the scenario. You're just being faced with a split-second decision like you brought up, Mom. It's tough. Welcome to the listeners. In case you haven't noticed, we're doing a Would You Rather scenario. This is a rather bleak start to that.
Intro.
I think we've got some more lighthearted stuff coming up, but I felt like this was a good intro point to the Would You Rather scenarios.
I got a lighthearted one.
Okay, let's hear it.
To maybe kick it off. Would you rather have every movie you watch slowly turn into Shrek by the halfway point, or have every song you listen to gradually blend into All Star by Smash Mouth after the first verse?
What a great Would You Rather.
Way to lighten the mood, Hayden.
So I like Shrek, and I like that song. However, I feel like songs could become annoying a lot faster than movies. That song specifically, because there's been so many memes about it. Like, Hayden, that there's a version of that song on YouTube where it's just, and the years start coming, and they don't stop 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 coming,
and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming.
So somebody edited that, and there's like a 10-hour version of that or something. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So I'd probably go with every movie turns into Shrek as opposed to that song, even though that song is in Shrek.
Yeah.
Is it? Is that song in Shrek?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
It is? Yeah, okay.
So we all know I'm not a huge Disney or animated
Well, it's not Disney.
movie fan. Well, whoever it is, it's cartoon. But I did like Shrek. I like the original. But I think, wait, can you read the question again? Because that'll matter to me.
Would you rather have every movie you watch slowly turn into Shrek by the halfway point, or have every song you listen to gradually blend into All Star by Smash Mouth after the first verse?
Man, I hate both of these choices so much because I don't want to not know what happens in a movie. And there is so much music I love.
100%.
But I think I'm going to go with digress into Shrek because I'm not giving up my music.
I think I'm outside of the norm when I say I enjoy movies a lot more than I enjoy music. Like, there is music that I thoroughly enjoy and will listen to on repeat, but my playlist hasn't really changed too much in the past 3-4 years. And I enjoy going to the movie theater and seeing new movies. So I don't think I could give up movies like that, because like,
Yeah.
say like this was posed to me and it was actually going to happen 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I would have never been able to experience anything in the MCU, any of the Star Wars movies, like things that like I literally like. There's a lightsaber right there. I wouldn't I wouldn't really care too much if I had never been able to watch those movies. So
Yeah, no, you're probably in the camp. My husband's in that camp too. He would
yeah,
choose a movie over music every day.
I wonder though, like, are you able to get descriptions of the movie from people, or does it become Shrek for everyone?
yeah, but then you have to read or listen to other people tell you about it.
Well, I mean, just like conversations with people. I mean, it's one thing to hear about it, and it's another to see it entirely. But I don't know. At least you might get it somehow.
I would assume it just turns into Shrek for you.
Okay.
But it also raises the question though, if you're watching a movie, there's like an action sequence or like some sort of cinematic thing and there's music playing over it, does that song then become all-star?
Become all stars?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that'd be funny.
That's crazy. All right, I have one. You guys ready? All right, this one you really have to put your imaginations to work. Would you rather have fingers that can stretch up to 10 feet long but are incredibly fragile, or have indestructible arms that are permanently 12 inches long? Big head and little arms.
So either have really long fingers that break easily or really short arms that are indestructible.
Yeah. Now your fingers, they stretch. They're not always 10 feet long.
Right.
So are they super brittle when they're not stretched, or only when they're stretched?
When they're stretched.
Okay. So they're just normal when they're not stretched.
How brittle are we talking?
I mean, I would think like, what was that movie, Unbreakable?
Yeah, with Samuel Jackson.
So I mean, is it like wet napkin or like cardboard box?
We'll say cardboard box to be fair.
Okay, because like it bends really easily, but you need at least a little bit of force to break it, you know?
They're fragile. Or you can have indestructible arms,
Yeah, but what? Like,
but they're only 12 inches long
I mean,
forever and always. Big head and little arms.
I don't know that I could do that. I'd probably have to go with the fingers.
All right, yeah, I think I'm also going to go with the fingers because you can control when they're brittle, right? So you'd use them in very specific scenarios, and I can't. Like, I use my hands too much, I use my arms too much to have little tiny arms like that. Like, I could really pretend hard to be like a velociraptor or a T-Rex or whatever from the movie, like,
A T-Rex.
So I have one more question though. Would it be like the longer the fingers get, the more brittle they get? Or as soon as they start stretching, they're immediately like you breathe on them wrong and they break?
I'm going with as soon as they start stretching. So you need to be really mindful of how you use them.
Yeah, no, I'm still going to go fingers. I can't justify having short arms.
I'm going fingers too because I can't not be able to pick things up. That's like stupid.
yo,
No,
I'm
going
I
fingers.
just thought of a naughty purpose for that, but if they're brittle, it doesn't work.
You are so gross.
Ew.
All right. So with that out of the way, Colleen,
Thank you for that digression.
here's another philosophical one for you. Would you rather never feel physical pain or never feel emotional pain?
Well, I would say if you didn't feel physical pain, you wouldn't know if something was wrong. Like I think there's an episode of House or something like that, because there's like there's some sort of condition where people can't feel pain.
That's a real condition, yeah.
Yeah, and like they don't know that they've like broken their arm or like they're internally bleeding or something. But also like without emotional pain, you can't grow as a person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm fine with being stumped
Stumped.
in my emotional growth.
Oh. Yeah, it's a tough one for me. Like like, I can pretty well handle physical pain, but emotional pain just hits a lot different and it sits with you a lot longer. Like, I don't care even if you broke your arm. Like, emotional pain could be with you for life, whereas physical pain you can just deal with. So I'll go with emotional as well.
Mm-hmm. So wait, what was Hayden's choice?
I haven't chosen yet.
Yeah, I bulldozed you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. We just walked all over you.
Well, I can't feel it, so
Lol.
How do your emotions feel, Hayden?
I don't know. Because I feel like emotional pain also, you could throw like empathy in there. You can sympathize with a person on how they're feeling. Versus like if you can't feel emotional pain, then you can't really sympathize with them or empathize.
That's their problem. Move along, little doggy.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody who actually knows me knows that's not true.
I don't know. I'd probably not be able to feel physical pain because then it could be like a neat party trick, even though I'd have to go to the hospital after it. You know, just like look, stab a knife through my hand, can't feel it.
Yeah, well, I'm still sticking with emotional because it's kind of like that old saying about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Just not true. I feel like words hurt way more than a physical, not that, I mean, you know, you get your butt beat, that hurts, but it heals and you forget, right? Whereas an emotional kind of like Jason said, just sticks with you forever and can really mess you up moving forward. And it can, yeah, I'm going with, I don't want the emotional pain. I'm sticking with my decision. I thought I might waver there for a minute, Hayden, and put up a good argument, but nah.
All right. Would you rather find out that everyone you've ever met is a part of an elaborate conspiracy against you, or that you're living in a simulation and everyone you know doesn't really exist?
Wow.
Oh, God. Wow. So what kind of conspiracy against me? Is it a bad conspiracy? Is it a good conspiracy?
Not really, no.
I mean, are conspiracies good? They're never good, are they?
They're usually not.
Yeah. I think, read it again. I'm old. You know, I can't retain stuff.
Would you rather find out that everyone you've ever met is a part of an elaborate conspiracy against you, or that you are living in a simulation and everyone you know doesn't really exist?
I think I'm going to go with the conspiring against me for a couple of reasons. I do not relish the thought of being alone, but I need to qualify that. Like, I appreciate my alone time. I'm perfectly fine doing things by myself, that sort of stuff. But the thought of being the only person doesn't appeal to me. Like, I could never connect with another human. I would feel betrayed. I would feel like I didn't matter. I would start to question everything. You know, if the people around me weren't real, then did this really happen or did that really happen? I'd rather have people, everybody I met, be conspiring against me for whatever reason, because at least when that comes out, I can get to the bottom of, well, you know, what is the issue? Why are you people conspiring against me? I feel like, you know, a show of grace and understanding in that situation could negate whatever the conspiry is. Conspiry. I think I made that word up.
So when you think about it, I think both of these scenarios are a conspiracy against you, because you either have
True.
everyone you know like be in a conspiracy against you, or you find out you're in a simulation and somehow that simulation has to be run by people, and ultimately you were like the test subject or the selected individual to be put into that and to literally be mentally tortured that way. So like, in essence, you're choosing the same option no matter which way you go. There's people conspiring against you. So I'd rather know that what's going on around me is real and go with the conspiracy side rather than the simulation.
See,
good points.
If there's one thing I've learned from being able to watch movies that don't turn into Shrek, it's that sometimes living in a simulation can suck, but also like in the movie Free Guy, it gives it like, it kind of, you know,
Free Guy
is an NPC that kind of develops a conscience and can walk about freely. It's not so bad. it doesn't always have to be bad. I mean, like, if I'm in a simulation right now, what's the difference? I'm still living my life. It's not really.
Yeah, right.
Well, we've been meaning to talk to you, Hayden.
And if it is a simulation and at some point I get pulled out, that's a problem for future Hayden.
100%.
I'd rather be in a simulation. That way I know everybody's not against me.
True.
All right.
True.
They're just not real.
Yeah, right.
My turn.
Yee.
All right. So, this one will make y'all laugh just when you think about the action items in this one. Would you rather live in a world where every time you sneeze, you changed genders, or every time you cough, you teleported to a random place
Sneeze.
on Earth?
I cough entirely too much. I live in a very humid environment and there's constantly stuff in my throat that I have to cough and
I
hack
sneeze
out.
way too much.
Yeah, I'm going to go with sneeze also because I cough entirely too much with allergies and all kinds of nonsense. It's just, I cannot deal with being teleported all the time.
Dude,
and
'cause-
honestly, like I can force myself to sneeze and just change gender back.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm going with sneeze because y'all know I don't sneeze just once, twice, 3 times. It's like I could be girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. I could finish up exactly where I started the amount of times I sneeze.
I sneeze generally one good sneeze, but like at a time. But like if I'm going to sneeze 3 or 4 times within 5 minutes of each other. Whereas like Cheyenne will sneeze 14 times in a row.
You just hope it's an
as
even
long
number.
as it's an even number. Right.
But I mean, like,
way to be in my head.
Living in a human environment, I do constantly have just gunk in my throat that I have to hack up, and sometimes I choke on it and cough. And
this conversation is going in the wrong direction, Hayden.
I just imagine having a coughing fit and just you're in the desert, you're in the Arctic, you're in Mumbai, you're in London now. Now you're in the middle of a rainforest. You're just like, where the hell am
You're in
I?
Antarctica in your underwear.
Yeah,
and like
that's fair.
And like sometimes people like move around and cough in their sleep, and imagine just being asleep and teleporting.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a really good point, actually. Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
That was a good one.
Would you rather continue with life as you know it, or go back to when you were 5 years old and live life over again, but with all the knowledge you have now? And you can like take that anyway. Like you can like, investment opportunities or what have you, like social situations that you got into, you can alter that. Like, would you rather stick with the way things are now or go back and change things?
I'm going back to 5 years old. No question. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be a rich 12-year-old. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm going back to 5 as well.
You're going to do like the Lego streams on YouTube before anybody does it or whatever.
I know a lot of stuff. I'm going back to 5.
Or, I might just tell my parents, make sure you invest in this online book selling company in the early 2000s because one day they're going to sell everything.
Right.
Right. Hot take. I'm going to continue with life as it is.
You are?
Because there's too much, like with the butterfly effect, like who knows what changes you make are going to impact the rest of the world, and I just don't want to know what that looks like. Things are bad enough as it is. I can't.
Maybe it changes for the better.
Plus, even if you go back, I was going to say, even if you go back, there's no guarantee you can like make the changes you want to make anyway, right? So like say you call ahead to the Twin Towers and are like, hey, get out, like don't go, right? And, like who's gonna listen to you? I don't know. Like, just think of something you'd like to change, and then just realize like maybe you can as an individual make an impact, but just consider the fact that you might not be able to. You'd have to relive that.
I'll just legally change my name to Nostradamus.
There you go.
Then they have to listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah, build a platform on lies. Love it.
They'll start realizing that I know everything that's going to happen, and they'll start listening. Yeah.
It's like this guy. But then here's the problem with that. People will start seeing you as like a prophet, and then God will smite you.
Right. And I was just kind of going in that direction. So just because I know things, and this is something that I have learned through age, right? Something that I wish a lot of other people could latch into is just because you know things or just because you have something to say about something doesn't mean you should open your mouth. So I, going back to 5, knowing what I know now, I would probably be pretty selective about what I interjected in. I was thinking more along the course of being a better me, doing a better job at being me.
Respect.
Yeah, love that.
Respectable. Would you rather use unethical means to achieve a goal for the greater good or fail in your goal while maintaining the moral high ground?
Ugh.
Wow, that's a stab for you there, Jason.
Yeah, it truly is.
The greater good, but your moral high ground. Where are you going, bud?
It's a rough one. That's for sure.
Where are you going?
So using unethical means, but you still benefit people, or you use ethical means and benefit no one?
Correct.
Oh, God.
You fail, but you maintain your morals, which means there must be a negative impact on
Right.
people.
Well, and a negative impact on the will of God. I'm sorry to take it there, but like even if your ultimate outcome is beneficial, the means by which you use to get there are still important. Faith without works is dead, and if your works are not fruitful, like if they're not of the Spirit, then they're not beneficial no matter what the outcome is. Because even if in your heart you have good intentions, but you're using things that, like you said, Mom, negatively impact other people, it's still not good. And like, I'd rather always operate on good moral standing, that I know that I follow the Bible and the Word of God, and not get, I don't know, not let my fleshly desires get ahead of my spirit. So I'd probably just stay ethical even if it fails.
Right. I'm with you. I mean, in that I didn't even have to think about it, but listening to you talk, it kind of solidifies why I went there right away. I would much rather fail and let what's going to happen, but keep my moral integrity, because at the end of the day, he gives beauty for ashes, right?
Yeah.
So whatever the negative may be, there's something, there's some purpose, there's some use that is going to come out of that. I mean, I can even think about negative things in my own life or on a global scale that in the moment just seem awful. But as you put space and time between you and that event, you begin to realize things. So I would fail, but maintain my moral grounds. And we all know that hasn't always been my choice. So I'm excited to be able to say that.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Yay. And don't apologize. Don't say you're sorry you took it
Yeah.
there.
I just couldn't bring myself to do unethical things, whether that be to people or animals or whatever. So I mean, like, that just wouldn't even be an option for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Look at my kids. They're like good people. Okay, hold on. Let's change the tone of things for a minute. Would you rather swim across a dark, murky lake that seems harmless but is stirring fears in your mind, or walk along the edge of a perfectly but very high
Hell no. Hell no.
Okay, look, I can't with this because I have thalassophobia.
What?
And I can't deal. So thalassophobia is fear of
For those of us who are less smart,
thalassophobia is fear of the ocean or fear of water, like open water. There's multiple different facets. Like there's submechanophobia, where there's like man-made objects placed underwater is scary to you, which I think, like, if you're a normal functioning brain, seeing things that aren't supposed to be underwater should be terrifying, because first of all, that is like either tragedy or like it's just not supposed to be there, right? So in a general sense, thalassophobia is just like fear of the water. And so you've now put me in scenarios where I have to traverse treacherously bodies of water in like really uncomfortable methods, and I can't deal with it.
I'm swimming.
Oh.
I don't do heights. I'm swimming.
you're swimming.
Here's the thing.
Ain't
Here's the
no
thing.
way.
You're swimming, and Jason,
No,
you're
okay,
walking.
yeah. That just solidified it for me, Hayden. I'm walking across the bridge because hopefully the fall kills me so that I don't have to deal with the water. I can't.
Okay. So I'm going to toss this out, and each of you can take a guess. How do you think I'm going to answer
You do
this
not
question?
like bridges.
Yeah,
so you're
you're
going
swimming.
with the murky water.
I'm so disappointed in
Really?
you.
What?
I'm walking across the bridge.
Even after Baltimore.
And here's why. You are yes. Even though I lost friends in that terrible event, I am terrified of bridges for that very reason. I'm always terrified I'm going to be on one when it caves in, because there have been at least a dozen of them that have happened in my lifetime. That one was really personal. So it's true. I'm terrified of bridges. I'm not a big fan of heights, but I am more terrified of not knowing what's around me. People talk about, they go on vacation. Oh, we went snorkeling and diving. Nope, not doing either of those things, because I lose my peripheral vision and I don't know what's coming up on me. So to be in a dark, murky body of water that is already making me feel uneasy, no, because I know that I can, in my mind, go to a place where I can navigate the fear, because let's face it, I live at the beach off the eastern coast of Florida, which is just a big old island. So I have to go over a bridge every day to get back to the mainland. You know, my hometown also has a giant river that goes right through the middle of it. So tons of bridges. So I've learned to deal with my fear with bridges. But what really has done it for me to be able to navigate my fear of heights is I put on my big girl panties one day and went zip lining over an abandoned lime mine that was all filled in with water and alligators. And I did it and I survived, and that was amazing. And then several years ago, I had the opportunity to, we've talked about before on the show that I used to work for NASCAR, which is headquartered in Daytona, just down the street from where I live. And their building is like 8 or 9 stories high. And as a fundraiser for their foundation, I went over the edge of the building and scaled down the side of the building. And let me tell you, that backing up where you cannot see behind you and you are just backing up inch by inch by inch by inch to the edge of the building and leaning back is the scariest thing I think I've ever done. But you know what? I did it. And I'm sitting here talking to you today. So I can, eyes forward, eyes to God, walk across the bridge. Just don't look
awesome.
down.
I don't know how you were disappointed in us, because we were right on the fact that you fear the water in the bridge and everything. So like, whatever. But I'm glad you conquered your fears at least.
But in my mind, I was like, oh, they're both going to pick bridges, because that's always been the thing I've been the most vocal about my fear over. So it's not a knock on you guys. I just kind of knew that's where you were going to go.
I'm confident that if I'm swimming across a murky lake and there were something that was going to attack me, I can at least put up a fight. I'm confident that I could at least start throwing haymakers out and put up a fight, whatever. But if I'm falling off a bridge, I got till the end of the fall.
No, I'm good with the fall. Yeah, 100%.
I'm still walking across the bridge.
That's a good one.
I really contemplated that question though before I asked it, because it was like, because it's two of my biggest fears.
I'm totally with you as far as like you don't know what's around you. Like the fear that I have, even though I get in the water or like we'll go on cruises and stuff like that, I have in swimming pools panicked because I felt like there was something in the deep end or something like. I can't deal. Yeah, my whole life. I don't think I've ever voiced this to you, but like I've always had just this primal fear. Yeah.
You grew up with swimming pools. Yeah, we had a swimming pool.
It's not to the point where I just refuse to be in the water or anything like that. Like I know people who just will not go around water. I'm not like that, but
Blue.
Okay, enough. Blow.
Would you rather spend a year on the space station or spend a year in an underwater observatory?
Oh. Am I by myself?
No, there's other people in both scenarios.
Okay.
I think we know my answer.
I think we do too.
I mean, as fascinating as I think the underwater would be, I'm kind of, what's the word I want to use? I'm kind of like held in place by the idea of what if it collapsed? What if the Meg showed
now
up?
you're getting it. Yep.
Like what?
Irrational or not,
No.
but yeah, not dealing with any of that.
But when I think about outer space, it's like, oh my gosh, what if we broke orbit and just floated away forever?
Well, physics wouldn't allow that.
What if I got sucked into a black hole? You be quiet, smarty science pants man. What if I got sucked into a black hole and became like spaghetti? But I think that I would definitely choose outer space. I would definitely choose a space station.
100% without a second thought, I'm going to space.
Yeah.
I'm also going to space because we've already talked about my thalassophobia. And like, sure, I have fear of space all the same because like it's nonsense out there too. But we know more about space than we do our own ocean. So like I can't deal with it.
Space is also just cool as
Space
shit.
is cool. Literally cool.
Yeah.
Like freezing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're inside.
See, and I have a problem with
so
that.
you're good.
Yeah,
So.
it's temperature
True,
regulated.
True. Do I get to wear one of those cool skin suits that they made at MIT for them?
That's how you retain body heat.
Okay, I'm down. I'm going to space.
Right on. Social.
I don't have an overwhelming desire to go to space. Like, I'm not one of these people trying to scrounge up $250,000 to get on some rocket to go to the edge of the atmosphere.
I would if I could.
I'm not doing that because I don't like that free falling feeling. But between those two scenarios, I'm going to space.
All right.
Word.
Would you rather spend a week in the wilderness surviving on your wits alone, or one night in a haunted house with no one else?
God. Well, I can't spend a week alone on my wits because I don't have any wits. I raised kids by myself. Are you kidding? And I was always outnumbered. There was always more of you little hoodlums than there was me.
All right.
What do you want me to call you?
Go with what your heart desires, I guess.
Oh my
I could call
God.
you jerks. I mean, what do you want to call? I'm sticking with hoodlums.
Oh, man.
What do y'all want to be called?
I don't care.
Children? I don't know. Oh, my God.
Shut up. Shut up, boners. I could use boners.
So I think Mom has made it clear that she's not spending a week in the woods.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. It was funny at first. Like, hey, I can't stay in the woods because I'm just not that smart. Like, I would never make it out alive. I mean, again, clear. There was 3 of y'all and 1 of me, and somehow or another, y'all always got up to something that I had to bail you out of, or had to come to you and go, okay, just tell me the truth. What happened here? And y'all all looked at me like doe in the headlights. I don't know, But a haunted mansion by myself, it's one night versus a week. I'm going to the haunted mansion.
Okay, just refresh me, Hayden. Can you read the question again?
Sorry, because Mom blabbered a lot.
That's fine.
Would you rather spend a week in the wilderness surviving on your own wits alone, or one night in a haunted house with no one else?
I'm going to go with the haunted house because the power of Christ compels all the spirits. And I have literally no ability to survive in the wilderness. I know nothing about survival tactics. I don't know how to skin an animal. I barely even know how to start my own fire. So I am not even going to mess with that. Here's the thing. Man's arrogance gets them killed more often than anything else. Thinking that I can go out there and rough it and figure it out, and then you die 2 days in because you don't know what you're doing.
Hey, man.
Or you make some sort of decision. Like I'm gonna build a shelter, and then you go to cut down a tree and it falls on you.
Shut up. Okay? Because I'm confident I can go out there and survive a week.
Well, you can try.
You are? Because here's the thing. I'm with Jason. I mean, fishing, not my thing. Where would I get a line? Oh my God, where am I going to sleep? I don't want to get bit by bugs. I'm so not a survivalist. I'm not even sure I can, not only can I not do all the things that Jason mentioned, I can't even pronounce Bear Grylls' name correctly. So I don't deserve to be out in the wild trying to figure it out on my own.
Bro, I can't even deal with gnats flying close to my eyes. There's no way I'm spending a week in the wilderness.
Like, yeah, not doing it.
See, I grew up watching those like Bear Grylls, Lone Survival, Dual Survival, all those shows with my dad.
Naked and Afraid.
And I literally
Whatever that thing was you showed me the other day with the guy sleeping in the snow. I'm like, what is he doing and why? Channel. And your answer was he's sleeping out in the snow for fun.
The outdoor boys.
What?
He just goes out in the Alaskan wilderness and spends a few nights out there. And I'm confident, I could get a fire started. Whether I find food or not is a different question, but I can go 3 weeks without food. This is only a week. I don't need to eat.
All right. I mean, Jesus went 40 days without water or food, so whatever.
I got plenty of food stored up.
Yeah,
right
in my tummy because it's big.
I could do that, but no, I'm right. I'm definitely though. I'm all in on the Haunted Mansion because whatever. I will just drink a bottle of NyQuil and wake up in the morning and it'll all be over.
Yep.
All right. So how about this? We'll go back to the morals or some type of moralistically based question. Would you rather live in a world where everyone can read minds or in a world where no one can tell a lie?
No one can tell a lie, without a doubt.
I feel like they're the same thing.
No, you could lie, but people would know
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like,
if they read your mind.
Yeah, I don't want people to think seeing my because I have a lot of intrusive thoughts that are just nonsense.
Everyone.
Right, I don't need you in my head.
Like,
so many people.
My God. No, I'm serious. I think mine are next level, dude.
There are a lot of people out there who won't even admit that. I promise you.
Yeah, no.
No. So I'm reading this book right now, and the lead character in the book, this female, she has this voice in her head that starts every conversation with, "We should kill them."
Yep.
Like everything she's thinking when she meets somebody on the street, she's like, "Hi, nice to meet you." In her head, the voice in her head is going, "We should kill them."
Bro.
So yeah, I'm with you. I don't want anybody in my head. Just don't lie. I can't stand lying.
I will just be hanging out with friends and I'll just be like, I wonder what would happen if I just knocked them the hell out right now. Like, no, nothing, no provocation, no nothing. Nothing has happened to me. My brain just goes, wouldn't it be cool? I'm like, will you chill out?
Right.
You are not in control.
That's this book. Her little voice is always like, literally. We should kill them.
So where I work, it's situated right across the street from a high school and an elementary school. And afterwards, the kids always come in because we have like a lounge cafe area. And I'll just sit there and be like, I wonder how many of those fourth graders I could take at one time. Like, what's...
So you want to pick on fourth graders?
Like, what's the number of fourth graders that would be too overwhelming for me to fight?
Oh my God.
How many fourth graders does it take to take out Hayden? It's kind of like the owl in the tree with the Tootsie Pop. How many licks? How many fourth graders does it take?
I've estimated 7.
Man, 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're familiar with John Mulaney, right?
Yeah. I was over on the bench.
You know the bit he has about like walking on one side of the road and he'll pass to the other side of the road if like there's like 14-year-olds coming or whatever. He goes, because they make fun of you in such a crucial way. Like they call out your insecurities, man. They know exactly what you're struggling with.
Yep.
He's like, look at that high-waisted man. He got feminine hips. No, that's the thing I'm sensitive about.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Let's face it, 14-year-olds are like, no, not my choice of people to hang out with, right?
Word.
Most of them.
I think it's 13-year-olds.
It's such an awkward age. Like, I feel sorry for kids at 12, 13, 14, because what? That's just, it's like a cruel joke, that tween
For
age.
sure.
Anyway, I'm going with nobody can tell a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess to wrap things up here, my last question would be, would you rather forget an unpleasant memory entirely or vividly remember a good memory?
Forget an unpleasant one because I can already remember the good ones pretty well.
Okay.
So I get a little torn over this one because, my best memories I want to remember like always and forever in Technicolor 4DK whatever thing, with the rumble box seats at the movie theater and the whole 9 yards, right? And the older I get,
Sure, all of that.
the more difficult that becomes. But then I also think about if I were to forget a bad memory, whereas it might negate like some discomfort or some anguish on my part, I think it might alter me because oftentimes those unpleasant memories are what remind me, oh, right, that's why I don't do that again. So I'd rather remember something vividly.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you 100%. Like, unpleasant memories, like we talked earlier about emotional pain sticking with you for a lot longer than physical pain, like depending on like the illness or whatever. Anyway, um that emotional pain from the unpleasantness, it guides your path forward. Like however it impacted you, that lesson sticks with you. Whereas the good memories, like I already have a hard time remembering anything. So like whatever good memories I have, I'm comfortable with because I don't even know what I'm missing at this point. And honestly, I should be going the other way because there are multiple unpleasant memories I had that I can remember very vividly. And it's like really stupid stuff. Like when I was like 5, Nan took, like we were all at the mall and Nan bought me some cotton
Oh
candy.
yeah, you were a real jerk that day.
Yeah, you and Matthew had gone off to got ice cream and then came back, and I'm like, oh, but I want the ice cream. And then Nan looks at me and says, well, you'd have to throw away your cotton candy. You can't have both. Without a moment's hesitation, I tossed that cotton candy right in the trash. No hesitation, no thought, whatever. Let's go get ice cream. I'm done with this.
She had just bought it.
It's like one of the most unpleasant memories I have of like just blatant disrespect. That wasn't my intent. That wasn't what was going on in my head, but I feel so guilty about that even to this day.
You should apologize to her.
Yeah, I doubt she remembers it either.
I'm kidding, because she probably doesn't remember, right?
I know.
Right? Because I find that to be true. The things that stick with us the most, the things that we carry guilt over like that involve another person, where we feel like we've hurt someone's feelings or wronged them in some certain way. Oftentimes if you do ever go back to that person and go, hey, can I talk to you about something? They're like, oh man, I didn't even remember that, but thanks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like you drudge up something for them that they had gotten past a long time ago.
Right.
Would you rather have a magical refrigerator that always stocks itself into your favorite foods, but each time has a tiny chance of turning into an inedible object, or have a pet unicorn that grants wishes with unpredictable outcomes?
I'm going with the fridge. I'm not dealing with any witchcraft or magic or nothing. Like, granted, the fridge is magic, but like, I don't need any unicorn out here determining history.
So
I would rather like starve for a night than like.
I'm totally going with the unicorn, not because I care that it can grant wishes or whatever, but I got a unicorn.
Yeah, man.
I have a unicorn.
Yeah, dude.
See, my inner fat kid is screaming for the refrigerator. So, I mean, my favorite
I'm with
food.
you there.
I mean,
100%.
Instead of having to go out and get my favorite food, I can...
His Chick-fil-A doesn't come out of a refrigerator.
I can just open my refrigerator and there's a Mountain Melt from Miller's Ale House. I don't even got to go.
But it's cold.
Bruh. Yep.
Wouldn't you want it hot and fresh, not cold out of the fridge?
Microwave, whatever. I mean...
Oh, yeah. I'm sticking with the unicorn.
No, because you'd be too tempted to sell that unicorn to the highest bidder, and then they're going to use it for nefarious purposes.
No, I would just want to own a unicorn. I'd put him in the backyard.
Well, then somebody will kill you and steal it.
Well, that's a shame for them. I would put a little unicorn in my backyard.
That's the world, man.
Do you know the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland?
I feel like I read that
believe
somewhere one time, but I couldn't swear to it.
Yep.
Okay, last one. Would you rather only be able to move by moonwalking or have every sentence you speak come out in the form of an 80s song lyric?
I use song lyrics to communicate already, so I'm probably going to go with that, and I don't know how to moonwalk, so done.
The exact same reasoning for me.
Yep. Easy.
I'm going with the moonwalking just because I want to be different. There you go.
Fair enough.
Fair
Okay.
enough. So we only had one social. How unfortunate.
How unfortunate is that? But wait, before we head out, would you rather hear this week's Monkeys Mischief or not?
Of course we would.
No, I'm good.
Whoa.
Of course you would. Again, Hayden, we've been meaning to have a talk with you.
His simulation told him to say no.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to hit the reset button in a minute. Hey, listen, why do seagulls fly over the sea?
Because they have wings.
Because if they flew over the bay, they would be
Bagels.
bagels.
They be
Yay!
bagels.
That's a good one. That's a really good
So
one.
if you skip through social, yeah, you like that?
That is good. Yeah, solid.
So if you
solid.
managed to skip through social media this week, you would have seen on Monday we posted the first part of that funny, and we always invite you to join us on Wednesdays to hear the back end. If you'd like to contribute a joke, you can visit us at monkeysunfiltered.com and submit your joke. If we choose to voice it on air, we will send you a Monkeys Unfiltered sticker. They're pretty dope.
Well, what a fun, thought-provoking conversation. I appreciate the two of you for joining me. Audience, I hope you enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts as well on social media. If you feel like you want to give feedback to any one of the scenarios we posed, and give us your reasoning too. We'd love to hear it.
I'd love to do an episode where people like drop their answers to some of those questions and we come back and share them. Yeah. So y'all get on social and tell us what you would do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you like this kind of content, be sure to return back next week anywhere you can get your podcasts. We publish every Wednesday. Look forward to growing our fan base and having more of you join the fold, join the monkey troop that we're building here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Stickers!
You're muted.
Just got ready to say, sorry, I'm muted. Fix the little floofy over your headphone, other side.
Yes.
Over your headphone. There you go.
I look like the tennis player who always wears the headband.
Andre Agassi.
Yeah. His hair always looks like this in the back.
Uh-huh.